Welcome to another episode of the Elevated Barbers Podcast. Now, you've sat with us for a whole new season 2, and today is the finale of season 2. So it's going to be me, aka the business-minded barber, and
this is Delmar, aka the Prince, co-host of the one and only Elevated Barbers Podcast. On the show.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, so we're gonna start off with a little snap, crackle, and pop for you all. Delmar, man, let's kick the season finale off with just some good conversation about this year's episode, like what we had today. I mean, not today, but this year. So we started off the season with Barber June, who is a mega superstar when it comes to content creation. And we got a chance to hear from him on on episode 1, man. Do you remember anything about that? Do you remember anything about that?
Yeah, he was our very first guest, man, and
yeah,
talking about his story, being in the Bay and then moving from the Bay to Arizona and opening up his barbershop, Relentless, and the backstory behind Relentless. Like, that was a very valuable episode, especially since it was our first guest.
Yeah,
so
man.
Just excited that we was able to get somebody like a Barber June on our show to bless the show. Season 2, been doing this for a year now. We 2 seasons in, and we got more to come. This is the season finale. This ain't the finale.
Right. Barber June he gave a lot of game to barbers that are trying to create content. Yeah, so if you are a barber that is trying to become a content creator, you probably look up to a Barber June. He gave you some very good feedback in that episode. So that was episode 1. Now, we're not going to be able to go through every single episode because we had a lot of guests. We had a lot of guests, man.
We did.
So,
we had a lot of guests. But I do want to bring up
who?
Ivan Zoot, how you broke the internet.
He broke the internet, bro.
He broke the internet.
Like, for real, I think that so when we talk about the internet, we talking about Instagram specific. We let out a leak of one of the episodes, and Ivan Zoot spoke about his prediction 2024, and he spoke about the nuances of barbers that are charging too much but not providing a better experience versus barbers that are providing the experience and charging what they feel like they're worth. And so when we spoke about that and we released that clip, so many barbers commented on it. Do you remember that?
Man, it was crazy. Like, people still to this day like, share, and comment on that specific post. Yeah. That's the biggest post that we've had from the Elevated Barbers Podcast. Like, we reached so many people. There was so many different point of views. It was kind of like a controversial conversation because some people felt a certain way. A lot of people agree with what he said.
Oh, yeah.
And then, everybody not going to agree 100% with what somebody says. So there was those who also debated it and mentioned, well, McDonald's is going up on their prices, but the product is still the same, customer service still the same.
Yeah.
But I feel different about that because we are barbers.
Yeah.
Food industry is different. Supply and demand. With us, we're providing a personal experience to clients, to the customers.
Yeah.
So, and then we also have the opportunity to increase in knowledge and self-development, which also makes us more valuable, or increases our value, I should say, as a barber, as a person, as in terms of what we can provide to our clients. So it's not just about, charging so much for a haircut because you're good or whatever, but it's a lot that goes into it as far as the customer experience also.
Yeah, you have to think about customer experience. And that's one of the things that I think some barbers were trying to argue was that, well, like you said, people go up on their prices all the time because of inflation. Mm-hmm. They were always using the reason for inflation as the reason for going up on their prices, when that has merit. Like, you can't knock the fact that inflation is real. However, inflation it hits everybody, right? Everybody is hit. Even your client or your customer is hit with inflation as well. But for you as a barber to only go up because of inflation and not improve the experience at all, it does show a level of lack of business knowledge. Because in real business, you're trying to always improve the value for the client so that you can continue to get returning clients. So it's not just about the volume of the masses, right? Like, I'm trying to get 100,000 people. Real businesses don't focus on getting 100,000 people. They get very laser on trying to get maybe 1,000 people that's going to pay $100. So they get less people, but they pay them more. And when you do that, you can still go after the masses just as much. But if you don't understand like the root behind businesses, then you won't understand. You'll look at like you said, you'll look at being a barber almost as if you own a McDonald's McDonald's where you're trying to cut costs and that's how they make more money and improve the profit margin, is by cutting costs and putting out less value and still charging more. But when you're dealing with a person's customer experience, their experience, you are a novelty. You're not a need.
Yeah.
And so you don't that, then you'll be like we was in 2020 and be non-essential because you haven't impacted the experience of that client more than just the experience of getting a haircut. And that's the difference.
Yeah. And it's hard to compare somebody or a company who is mass producing product versus somebody who's in the customer, experience based type of profession. Like what we do, we can't compare to McDonald's. We can't compare to Nike and Jordan. They go up on their shoes, but the quality go down.
Yeah, gas prices went up. Well, I can't go up.
Right.
You're not Shell.
Yeah, you don't own oil, my boy.
Yeah.
You don't own oil.
But that was a great episode, man. Ivan Zoo dropped a lot of gems. We talked about even the art of selling, and how that applies to being a barber, and how it's not actually selling, it's more so telling. And he dropped some gems, man. So if you have product in your space, if you're looking to learn how to start selling a little bit better as a barber, then go and check out that episode. That's the episode with Ivan Zoo.
Definitely. Man, I appreciate having Lady Lisi on too.
Yes.
Another big episode. She came on and shared her story about how she was raised in a different country, and then she moved to, I believe it was Compton, right?
Yeah, she eventually got to Compton. I think she was in one of the upper states before, but she eventually got to Compton in the LA area, and I appreciated her ability to stay strong. She shared a particular story that happened to her in the barbering space, and how she used to be a little bit more of a timid person, and when you look at her now, you would never think that she was ever timid, but she had to develop herself in a way to where she could demand and command respect in the barbering space. And so she could do everything, man. She's an educator, all of that stuff, and she still takes time to sit behind the chair. Even though she can go internationally and get all types of clients, she really cares about the craft, and she still cares about the customer and the client that she serves, because she doesn't skyrocket her prices just to do it. Even though she got the clout to do it, she still cares enough about the person that she's been serving for the last few years or whatever. And she's a very I would say respectful person. You got to give her respect in this industry. Sure.
Man, also how she was on I believe it was the Cedric the Entertainer's barber battle.
Yeah.
She was on that show and she won that show, and I believe that's how she said that's what really changed her life, going on that show and competing with the other barbers and winning that competition. It really changed things for her. It changed her trajectory.
Yeah, good word usage. I like that. Trajectory.
Yeah.
Nah, but
my verbiage trying to get like
and then one of the things that she said is the importance of going to barber battles and getting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Because that helped to improve her momentum when it came to growing in this industry, because she wasn't respected for what she could do, because she wasn't seen and she wasn't noticed outside of just the little area in which she worked. But when she started going to barber battles, and how she was talking about how she didn't have no money, but she would save up enough money to go to the barber battles. So she was like lightweight homeless in that whole transition.
Yeah.
You remember her talking about that, living in her car and different things. So anyways, point for me was about perseverance, man, going after your dreams and don't letting your current circumstances to be the thing that's going to hinder you from getting to where you want to go. Just let that goal be your focus and go after it.
Yeah. And while we in that same vein, I want to mention Denitra, Danny B.
Oh yeah, DB.
Her story was kind of like, she had something traumatic happen to her. I believe she lost her sister, and she from Detroit, and she moved to LA, I want to say.
Yeah.
And that's another example of not giving up. Like, although she had something traumatic that happened to her, I believe her sister name was Lucky.
Yeah.
And still prayers up to you, Danny B, if you're watching this episode.
Yeah.
And we really appreciated you sharing that story with us and having you on the show. But just how she persevered through all of that, and she's still going strong. I believe she's an educator now in the LA area. And she's another one who really cares about like the students. She cares about the clients, the customers, and all of her students. They love her.
Yeah, they do.
They love her. You can see it in the videos that she posts on social media, like how she just interact with each one of her students and the energy that she had. Even when she came on the show, she was full of energy, man. She had me, damn.
Yeah, no, it's just her positivity, man. Her positivity is infectious, and it's such a good aspect about anybody that's in this industry, because we can carry a lot of weight from just life.
Yeah.
But you have to intentionally come into the shop, into wherever you work. If you have a suite, if you're a mobile barber, whatever you're doing, you always have to make sure that you bring your best foot, and you don't bring your problems into the client's problem, because they gonna bring you their problems anyway. You don't need to overload yourself with problems. So it's better to kind of be able to be positive and focus on the good, focus on what you do have, be thankful for what you do have. And when you bring that energy to the clients, you always lift them up, versus them leaving down because you weren't feeling the best that day. That was very good. A lot of what she said stood out to me, man.
Yes,
The
sir.
best.
The best. Shout out
That
to
was a
you.
tough episode, man, because I always call you D, and then I had to call her D, and I had to just make sure I say D best every time.
I kept getting confused, man.
Yeah, but man, she was an outstanding guest. Outstanding
was.
guest. Another one that reminds me, we had a good amount of variety on this season, man, in regards to
we had
the
like
different
20
types
guests.
of guests. Yeah, we had 20.
I think we had 20, bro. We only did 2 episodes, not including this one, but we did 2 episodes by ourselves, and I think we had a total of 24 episodes before the season finale.
Oh, beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah. We had some heavy hitters, man. We had some heavy hitters get on the show. We had Josh Hawkins. What?
Yeah.
Now, y'all know who Hawk is? Man.
I think he just competed or taught a class in Chicago this past weekend. Yeah.
Man, I believe it, man. I got a chance to see his class in Vegas, and we spoke about it on that episode, just when he spoke about how to bring faith into the barbering space. And that was such a good class to sit through in Vegas. But even to get his mind on growth in this industry and how to stay grounded, man, he's deep, man. He was a deep person.
That was a deep episode, because this industry can take you for a ride if you allow it to. I know I did at one point in my career, and then I had to remember, my reason for doing this, and the standards that I have in my personal life. Not getting away from that, no matter what this industry shows us in the limelight. But staying true to myself, staying true to what I believe. You get lost, bro. You get lost.
You really can. You really can, especially because this industry is based on vanity. Like at the root, it's like, how do I look? I want to look a certain way and all of this stuff, enhance this and whatever. And it's all about vanity. But then on top of vanity, it can stroke the muscle of greed if you don't be careful, because it's all about getting money, for the barber. And so we're focused on vanity and greed at the same time. That's our job at the end of the day. But it's all based on who you are as a person in your heart, and who you are with what you think, how you think, because this is the biggest environment that's going to produce the most fruit, is how you think. So if you impact your mind with the right things, that's how come he was talking about reading books. He was talking about getting around the right types of people, so that your environment can help shape the fruit that's going to come. So if you get the right things in your mind, then you can produce better fruit. But if you're not intentional behind what you're doing and what you're putting into your mind, then you're just going to be led by whatever is on the inside already. And a lot of times that's not going to be the best thing.
Going to get carried away with the trends and trying to keep up with everything that's going on in this industry. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, man. Stick true to who you are. And if you don't like who you are, you can always change. You can always change. You can start to feed yourself with better content, better information, put yourself in better environments, and that'll shape your future better. So that was a good episode. We was about to get deep again. That's what happened on that episode, man. We really went deep. Even talked a lot about spirituality, because he's a faith-based individual, and so are we. And it was just a really healthy conversation. So if you are a barber that's trying to, I don't know, just develop mentally, and you want to stay grounded in this industry, you want success, you want to have a lot of success, but you also don't want to lose yourself, listen to that episode with Josh Hawkins.
Yeah, it's so many episodes we can choose from, man. Like Suge and him talking about, not overthinking, basically, when it comes to branding yourself. We had Mike Andrews, and he talking about professionalism of the barber industry. Like, it's just so many different people that we can choose from that was also good, Carmina.
Oh yeah, how to
and
be
shout
authentically yourself,
How to
man.
be
She was
yourself.
good.
That was good. And shout out to Jesse James the Barber. Reason
Yeah,
why I say that because we got a big announcement. Me and Bradford, the Elevated Barbers Podcast, we're gonna be at the Barber Battle in Tacoma, Washington at the end
yes.
of June.
June 30th, we will be there as Elevated Barbers Podcast. We are
Yes,
coming
sir.
strong. This is Barber Battle number 5 for Jesse James, and we are thankful to be a part of it. Chris Basio is going to be there. I'm going to be able to teach class on stage, so please be there for that. Then me and Delmar, we're going to get together and we're going to hold some podcasts at the show. So we are excited.
I'm really going there to support Brad because I want to see him teach his class because he's such a phenomenal teacher. He helped me elevate into this industry. A lot of y'all don't know, me and Brad had the opportunity to work with each other for 2 months, and I was supposed to move out there, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah,
but
it still hurts me.
We found a way to work with each other.
Yeah, we made it happen, man. We made it happen at the end of the day.
So many years later, but hey, better late than never.
Yeah, and it's right on time, man. It's right on time. I think we both got a chance to grow in different areas that we probably would not have been able to grow in being next to each other, and we don't know it. You know, just certain challenges, certain opportunities come up, and when you're faced with a challenge, it's how you do it. You know, but I know I would have definitely had a comfort with you being there, and I might have chose not to grow and might have chose to stay comfortable. So me seeing what you're doing afar off, it challenged me, even though I wouldn't say it to you like, man, bro, like that was nice. How did you do that? I would have to go and, you know, do some YouTube research or watch some of your tutorials that you used to put out and see what you were doing. And then just conversing with you from time to time and just seeing your work over the years, man, it always motivated me. So I was over here on the backside just trying to make sure I stayed sharp because you was blazing past me with your skill set, man.
Yeah, but none of this would have happened without you inspiring me to do so. I think it was perfect timing because a lot of y'all don't know, but me and Bradford relationship go beyond this podcast. Like we've been friends for 20 plus years. But I think when I first started cutting hair, you was already going to school. This was like 2005. So it was like perfect alignment. And I was, you know, I had the opportunity to go with you. You went to Cal and cut a few people. You cut people. You went cut somebody at their garage, and just seeing you do that, like it gassed me up to be able to really do this.
Yeah.
Seeing that I can make money doing it as well. And then seeing you in a professional setting at Javant's.
Yeah.
And then that started, and then doing what you're doing now with another level of barbering, and you know, you working on your course, your webinars,
the Level Up program.
Level Up program.
The Level Up program for barbers, man. It's for beauty professionals as well, but I'm focusing on the barbers first. It will be out very soon. I'm already doing trials, so getting through that, gonna go through the content and then give some real actual testimonials. And so you guys will see this soon promoted very heavily. So tap in if you want to grow.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it's been a great season. This is our first time having guests. First season we did this, and it started off as let's try this, because we had a segment on the URCEO, me, you, and Traven, and then the idea kind of birthed from that, and it was like, oh, well, let's create this podcast geared towards barbers and beauty professionals, and just try to give some insight, some game, the real insight of the industry, because there's a lot of fake stuff out there. But we giving the real, we giving our personal experiences, our failures, shortcomings, but also us coming up higher and elevating as well. And really just sharing that space with different ones. And then season 2, we go into season 2, and we started to have guests. Like I said, we had 20 plus guests. All of them gave some great insight. I think the most watched podcast episode was with Lasana. But those of you who don't know Lasana's name on IG is Cutter Concepts. That was a big episode, man.
Man, how to grow your business as a barber. That was watched over 300 times. 300 times. That was the highest viewed episode, but that was probably the most game given in one episode, where a barber can take something and understand how to implement something so that they can make more money and grow their business. That episode was good. Lasana dropped a lot of gems. And on top of dropping a lot of gems, he pulled gems out of me and you. Like some of the questions that he was asking, it really gave us a chance to answer from our business experience as well, and provide provide some value. So man, if you are trying to grow your business as a barber, go
Watch
look
that
at that
episode.
episode. That was a big one. That was a big one. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he doesn't even have like a magnificent following on Instagram,
It
but
was just
that
acceptable.
goes to show you, man, like it's not about how many followers you have. It's really more about how much do you have in your mind and how much
Yeah.
have you been through, how much experience do you have, because you can share so much value. And the fact that over 300 people saw that episode and we did no marketing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we did no marketing for that.
No paid ads.
Nothing.
None of that.
We didn't even do a whole bunch of clips.
Mm-mm.
And it's still 300 plus views, man. And it's still growing to this day.
Oh.
So shout out to Lasana.
Shout out to Lasana. My first time meeting Lasana was when you had one of your first webinar.
Yeah.
Yep. Lasana, cool dude, man.
Yeah, man. I met Lasana in a class. We both were taking a class together, and we both were trying to understand a little bit more about education. And one of our guests happened to be our teacher. His name is Israel Wright. And so having Israel Wright kind of made it full circle, man, in different ways, because I remember being in his class, and now I'm teaching, and now I'm also able to bring him on as a guest. And he was gold, man. For anybody that is looking at entrepreneurship, he was gold. The fact that he said that he's looking at the whole business of barbering as a product, like he's trying to create something to where his business is sellable.
Yeah.
And I said, man, like you definitely superseded where my mind was at when you think about the business of barbering. He's just like, it almost sounds like he's trying to learn how to franchise.
Yeah.
You know?
And that go to show you that there's much more to this industry than just fading behind the chair.
Yeah.
Like you can come up with a product, you come up with a digital product, come up with a course. There's so many different avenues. Like people are always wanting to learn. People always want to do use the latest product, the latest clipper or whatever. Speaking of clippers, we had another guest on, Nello Blends, and how he was talking about how he had the mindset to, start. He saw a problem with clippers.
Yeah.
He started making modifications for clippers. So example, you would have a wall trimmer, but he saw that the blades on wall trimmers wasn't better than Andis. So, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the Andis blade, create a piece for it so that can go on the wall clipper. So now you have a wall and Andis fusion, and that's how he made his creation. And him just getting the machinery and coming in contact with a guy, and then things happen, but then he was able to pivot from that and to learn how to use a 3D printing machine to continue to make his modifications flippers. And I was able to firsthand see him do some of this stuff because Nello worked
with you, right?
He worked with us. He worked with me at MVP Barbers when I was there, and I was able to see him go to his house and see him putting his stuff into work. And he had gadgets everywhere, man. Like just seeing that experience, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to put this on this, and then him letting me use some of the tools that he was crafting. I want you to try it out.
The Kimmy King?
Kimmy King. He went from the Kimmy King to the Everything King. Like this guy would go on Amazon and buy these
cheap
$30 cheap clippers, and they cut just like the $200 clippers.
Oh man, it hit you strong. You remember that? That's a strong memory that you just had. It choked you up.
It got dry, man.
Man, that was a powerful memory, man. Anytime you got to take a sip after a memory, that must have been impactful. But his energy and humility, I remember that from that episode. Just he spoke from a place of confidence, but he also spoke from a place of experience, which a lot of times when you have confidence and you have experience, a person can become cocky in whatever they're doing. But he didn't have that. He had a very helpful mentality. Like he's just like, nah, there's like a lot of problems with the clippers, and I've figured out different ways to make these things better. And so that's what he provides to the industry. And it was really his mindset at the end of the day, being able to take a circumstance that's not something that you would desire, and then being able to use that as fuel and energy to continue on doing what you knew you could do, even if you had to make a difference, make a change. But you don't change, you change directions, but you don't change the destination.
That's right.
And that's what he was able to do, and still, dancing his way through it, because he is a salsa champion. He's working on his salsa championship at this moment.
I like how you segued that in there.
Yeah, I had to move that in there, man, because he sent me some video clips of some salsa moves, and I was just like, "Is this you?" And he was just like, "It will be one day."
And Nelson is a funny human being, man. man. He
Yeah,
was
he
very
is,
funny.
man. I think one of our funniest people, we had a few funny people, but one of our funniest people was probably, I got a couple I want to toss up there, but Barber June was funny.
Barber
But
June
then
definitely funny.
also Taylor Perry.
Yeah, Taylor was
Perry
funny.
was funny when he was kind of talking about his experience through going to scalp micropigmentation and shifting from being a barber, and just the perspective that a person can have negatively on a change,
Yeah.
especially if it's like a big change. But when you start to ask him and talk to him, he's like, it's a no-brainer. Like,
Yeah.
if you
Like,
want to
you
keep
think
cutting
about
hair,
it too much.
yeah. It shouldn't be that difficult. You want to make $3,000, no, $1,000 an hour, you want to make $1,000 a month. It's up to you. So that was funny, man. But his I liked his energy about even just the mindset towards going after something different in this industry and not being stuck to just the fade, just the, just the tapers, just the spray on enhancements. Like, you can really do a lot of things in this industry if you put your mind to it and you put your time to it. All you got to do is just try, put forth the effort and let time allow your muscles and your skill set to build. But he had a good point of view.
Yeah, he changed my mindset about SMP because he said it's not just a service, but it's also enhancement. So I mean, it's permanent enhancements. So you gotta take the class, of course, and know what you're doing, because you are basically putting a tattoo in somebody's head.
Yeah.
We've seen some bad examples.
Oh, we've seen some serious casualties happen. For real, man. For real. Like, if that person wasn't a strong person, I would be wearing a wave cap in all buildings that I go into. Or a beanie, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or I start pulling off that, what's that thing? I ain't gonna say it. It's cool. I'm not gonna say it. But I would have something over my head.
Definitely. At all times.
And people would just I would just say, this is a part of my religion. Like, this is my faith. This is a part of my faith. But yeah, if you're not a strong
about
man,
Sly.
you said what?
We can't forget about Sly.
Oh, Sly is too fly to forget. He out here posing on the Instagram with all his outfits, and then he came in there and dropped some game about being available, reliable, dependable. Yeah, I remember that.
And he had on his North Carolina, sweatshirt.
Yeah, representing Vince
Tar
Carter.
Heel. Yeah. He was our last guest, and that episode had a lot of stuff to it as well.
Yeah.
And then going back to what he said about being dependable, reliable, and what was the other one?
Available.
So that brings me to my remembrance when I shared on that last episode that the first official barbershop I worked in was owned by an older guy, Mr. Holmes. He would always tell me, best ability is availability.
Yeah.
You're like, no matter how good you cut, if you're not here to cut these people, you're not available to these clients, these walk-ins, you no good.
Yeah.
I would be in the shop, didn't have anybody lined up, still was building my clientele, but I would be there 8 hours, sometimes coming off of working the night shift.
Yeah.
And would be there all day. But that helped me to be who I am today. Sometimes I'm a little extreme because, even with my health condition, I'll be in severe pain and still would show up to the barbershop in pain. But it's because one, I don't like missing out on money. And then two, just that being available, I took that to heart.
Yeah.
Because I saw what it looked like. I worked next to somebody. I saw what it looked like with somebody who wasn't available.
Yeah.
And then
were they too booked, or they just wasn't someone that came to the shop consistently?
Yeah, he wasn't coming to the shop.
Yeah.
So I saw that aspect of it and what can happen if you're not around, and your clients can't depend on you. And he has some reliable, some consistent clients, I should say. But when they wouldn't see him and they saw that I was always there and I took it serious, some of those people started coming to me, and he's still with me to this day. But yeah, and I even when I talk to young barbers, I tell them, that's one of the first things I tell them: work on your skills, but also be available.
Yeah.
You can't make all the parties, you can't make all of the events that's going on. Like, you got to be at the shop cutting people that's trying to go to the parties, that's trying to go to the events.
Yeah.
You got to be there and get that money, because it's not always promised, especially to somebody who's just getting in the industry and they don't have a system set up.
Yeah.
You might be fully booked this week, 100% booked. You done made X amount of dollars, and then the next week it ain't that busy.
Yeah,
So
you are
it's
available.
offset. Yeah, it's an offset. But if you always turning people down because you want to go to the parties and the events, and then you complaining about it being slow, you had the money coming to you. The money, the old guy also said this. He said, the money coming to you.
Yeah.
The money coming through the door. People come in and sit down. They won't pay you for your service. You just got to be there. You got to show up.
Yeah.
So if you turning people down, you turning them away because you got such and such to go to. And I'm not talking about, when you get established, once you get established and get a system, set your own, schedule or whatever. But when you just trying to get in and build your reputation and build your clientele, man, you gotta be available to cut everybody.
Yeah, that's a unfortunate truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get into this industry expecting freedom. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm gonna be my own boss. I'm gonna set my own schedule. I'm gonna choose my own hours. I'm gonna cut who I want to cut when I want to cut them and all of this stuff. And then you realize that your bills don't care nothing about what you want to do. And you like, oh, well, if I want to move out of my mom's house, or if I want to get my own space, or if I want to get married, or if I'm about to have a child, or if anything life is life, and then you got to do what you got to do. And if you don't have that mentality up front in this industry, you're gonna definitely push success far, far away from you, and you're gonna eventually most likely want to get out of the industry because you feel like it's not being as rewarded. It's not as rewarding as you thought it was supposed to be. It's you.
Yeah, it's you.
You're not the one that's being the rewarding party. And once you get past that, like once you mentally commit to giving time, then you actually can build the freedom that you got into the industry for. You just got to focus on building it. You're trying to have the building without ever building it, but you have to start with the foundation, and that's when you start to be about availability. You learn how to be reliable. People can depend on you, and then you get credibility. And once you start to get credibility, that is probably one of the strongest abilities you can have, is someone really finding you valuable. It's like, man, I'm definitely going to Delmar. He's always present when I need him. When I get my appointment, he's on time. He's a clean barber. I appreciate this ambiance. I appreciate the way it feels coming here. I'm able to talk to him. It becomes so much more than just the haircut when you are available, reliable, and dependable. And then over the course of time, your availability can lessen and your demand can be more higher, or your demand can be higher because you have a lower supply. Like there's too many people that want to see you, and therefore you can increase your rates so that you can make more money per person that comes to you. But when you don't have enough people doing that, and you just trying to go up because you see the industry going up or because of inflation, then you're gonna end up losing your ability to truly be successful. You won't build the freedom that you want.
Yeah, you said the key word, foundation. I believe those three things that Sly mentioned in that last episode, that is definitely part of the foundation.
Yeah,
you can't build your brand, your business without those three.
Yep.
Reliability, dependability, and availability.
Yeah, that is so true. So Delmar, if you were to try and just recap what Elevated Barbers Podcast was this season, how would you do it?
We had some heart-touching moments. We had a lot of substance. The big word for me would be opportunity.
Really?
Reason why I say opportunity is because all these guests, aside from the few that I do follow, some of the guests that you invited on, you follow, you have a connection with them, but I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet them if it wasn't for us having an idea of, hey, let's bring on guests for season 2. And the same way with you, some of the people that I follow and I know personally, you probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet them either if we didn't have them on the show.
Yeah.
And then just learning the different mindset of each one. And they all are business people, but everyone gears are different. Like me and you, our gears are different. Like you make me see things in a way that I would have never thought of. And then listening to different ones like Hawk and Suge and Mike and all these different guests that we had
Armani.
on.
Don't forget Armani.
Armani. Shout out to him too, good fella.
Really good.
But every single guest that we had on, they showed me something different. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the things that they mentioned on these episodes, I wouldn't have thought of. So this season, I say opportunity, but it led to growth for me. Yeah. It led to growth.
Yeah. I would agree with you on that 1,000%. I like the word opportunity because it was a opportunity for us to get to know the industry in a deeper light. For me, from my perspective, you see people online and you see people in their following sometimes, or you see people in their work, and you don't really get a chance to know their mindset behind why they do what they do. But this episode, this season, we got a chance to go behind the veil a little bit and see what was in their mind towards the business of what they were doing. And so when you think about Elevated Barbers, one of the things that we started saying was, this podcast is to help elevate barbers that are elevating barbers. So we're bringing on people that are adding value to the game already, trying to make sure that this podcast is a resource for all barbers that are trying to grow. So when you said opportunity, opportunity led to growth for season 2, I would 1,000% agree with that, because hopefully that's the value that we provide to the people that watch, is that this is an opportunity for you to grow with every single episode that we have. And we had some key people that added so many like real gems, tangible things that you could take away, that I just feel like it's priceless.
Yeah. And I know we probably forgot some of the names because there was so many guests.
Yeah.
One that come to mind is Tyreek. And
Tyreek Jackson.
The fact that I think he said he drove like an hour and a half to do the episode with us.
Yeah, 90 minutes, and it was about to snow. It was like he got there before the snowstorm happened, took the time and did a podcast with him. And that's one of those people, man, that's like, you see the numbers and you don't think that, or you don't know the humility behind them. You know, you see him on social media and different things of that nature, but being able to see the level of sacrifice he did just so that he could be on the podcast with us, that was epic.
Yeah, that was huge. But yeah, season 3, can't drop too much about season 3, but definitely looking forward to it.
You're not gonna give the people a sneak peek?
Nah, no sneak peeks. But I definitely want to say that Bradford and I, we've had a meeting and we're looking to try to improve. I mean, that's what we do. We elevated barbers. And I just want to say that personally, I want to take this more seriously. Not that I didn't before, but I think after hearing certain things from different people, like I said, there was a lot of growth that took place during this season. And I think we have something great with Elevated Barbers Podcast. I'm looking forward to interviewing different ones at the Barber Battle in June in Tacoma, Washington. I'm looking to grow as a host, looking to grow as a person, as always, but just to be better for our platform.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to season 3. I'm already there.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. The growth aspect in life should go through every aspect that any of us are involved in. You know, whether that be business, you be a barber. We're now podcast hosts, you know, and we really have a very good product. Like, we really do. We're not the typical talk crazy, talk trash, foul language, you know, just negative conversation. We're not in here talking about women and how they look and just the stereotypical stuff that you would find in a barbering space, a barbering podcast. That's not what this is. What we are is different. What we are is an elevated version of what barbering is, and we're trying to help elevate the whole industry as much as we can, and we can only do that by elevating barbers. And so we do that by elevating barbers that are elevating barbers, so that we all can be elevated. And I think for season 3, we're gonna be doing some stuff, and like Delmar said, we can't give y'all too much insight, but we are going to be doing some things where people will be able to let us know that they want to be on the show, because what we found is it's hard for people to share the information because they don't have platforms really to do it on. Right. And we've become a platform where people can share some information that they feel is valuable to the community, or to the community of barbers. And we have a strong following now on YouTube, as well as even our Instagram platform is starting to blow up. So when we start to put out the information that allows people to let us know what they want to talk about, then we'll be able to get to you sooner, so that we can get different ones on the platform and get a really, really good interview, so that you guys can help elevate barbers as well.
Yeah. And I will say,
that's one little sneak peek, but that's it. Go ahead.
I throw this one little nugget in. I give them this.
Oh, okay.
We might have some part 2s. Might have some part 2s. So some people you may see returning for season 3.
Yeah, because they're deserving of the return. They are. Yeah. So I mean, we don't got to belabor this episode any longer. I feel like just being able to do a recap with you, Delmar. First, let me just before we close out, let me just give you some honor, man. I super appreciate you for being the host / co-host of Elevated Barbers Podcast. It's been a blast, man. I've seen you go through some challenges, even through the podcast, you know, just different things going on in life, and you being able to bounce back, whether it be health conditions or just time, you know, and you being able to shift in your mindset to make sure that you keep things a priority that's outside of just business, and you making sure that you stay grounded yourself. It's been a motivation. It's been a motivation to me to make sure that I stay level-headed, even through different things that we've spoken about with different guests, talking about being level-headed, talking about bringing your best foot forward. The different things that you've done has definitely helped elevate me, man. So thank you very much. much for allowing me to be your podcast host and co-host. It's been a blast.
Nah, man, I just want to return the favor and say I appreciate you as well. You know, I am my brother's keeper. And I tell
feel
you,
kept. I feel kept.
Nah, I feel kept, man. I said that because of you.
What
I feel
you mean?
like just you always being there and understanding of, you know, different things that may transpire personally for me, and still being that push in my back. You know, just even inviting me to listen to the course and be a part of that. And we're working on something else too.
Yeah.
I can't get that away, but that's gonna be huge. And I'm looking forward to continue to work with you even beyond the Elevated Barbers podcast, man. Like, you inspire me in so many ways. So there would be no Prince without the business minded barber.
Man, I appreciate
so for my clients that complain about me going up on my prices, wait, I'm pointing the wrong way.
It ain't me. It ain't me. That's because of your value, man. Your value. Yeah, man. But yeah, to everybody that's out there, the Elevated Barbers Podcast land, I hope that you enjoyed this recap of season 2. We are going to be coming back with season 3 in a few weeks. We're not going to have a few episodes for a couple weeks just because we're trying to ramp up and make sure that we really provide best quality that we can for season 3, because we learning more. So we're going to be doing more so that we can actually impact your life in a better way. So I think we out. I don't know. Are we out? Are we out? Is this? Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna let some of the guests that was on actually close us out. So hit the video, Andres.
Destination is very key. It's very important. I think a lot of times people want to rush to get to the destination. I think direction is more important than speed. Direction is more important than speed. It's not about how fast to get to the destination. It's the direction that you're leading to that destination.
But the secret is giving and understanding the proper way, and giving without expecting return, and understand how it's not 50-50. You have to learn how to give 100%. And that if you know how to give 100%, you'll get back everything tenfold. It's all of us. It's like tides. It's just like tides, but it's just in your everyday life and understanding how to do so. Bradford, what we got? What's this project we got right now? We got Fade Talk going on. What's Fade Talk? That's not even about me. I just want to give other barbers a platform to tell their stories, and in turn, that's also helping my business just slightly grow. That's what's been going on. It wasn't I'm gonna do Fade Talk and we finna eat off of this. No, it's let's just keep giving these amazing barbers a platform to speak, and in turn, it goes both ways, and the connections build and things like that. This how it goes continuously.
People don't understand that there's phases to your success.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to jump like here real quick, and you start losing like that process or the joy of the process, right?
The process.
So
yeah.
And I started going into my competition phase, right? And then I'll go into like different phases, but I understood that in order for me to like be an expert at hair, period, because I don't do anything else outside of hair. Now I do different things in the hair world, but it's because I was able to take those phases one at a time and really apply them.
And I was the brokest and alone in my entire life living in Arizona, right? So my father had passed away the same year we moved out of West Virginia. So
pre or post move?
What's that?
Did he pass before you moved?
Pre-move, but he was very sick on his deathbed while we made that decision. So I couldn't imagine, leaving him in that condition, essentially. So it all kind of happened the way it was supposed to. And that's truth be told, that's a lot of how my barber careers went. I was thinking about that the other day. Just everything sort of aligned, and I was super blessed, and just, the universe saw how hard I was struggling and how hard I was trying to make it in Arizona.
You trying to make things too personal for you. I'm catering to the client. I like client like. Personally.
As they say, if you like it, I love it.
I like it. You want to sit back and you want the music real low, man. We're gonna get cut up. You want to be quiet today? You want to talk today? Yeah. It's whatever you need, because they're paying me for a service. It's not about you, barbers. It's not about you.
It's about them.
It's about them.
I'll do the announcement right now because I just got the save the date flyer actually today.
Oh, bless us.
Yes, I'll show you guys the flyer first.
Look at it. Oh, you got Chris Basio.
Chris Basio coming in 2:45. We got Nargis from
Urban
Barber College, and then I'm working on some other things. I think Stylecraft's going to jump on board, and I'm good friends with ET the Barber, and he's with Stylecraft. So me and him have both requested that date, but we'll see. It's their choice who they want to send, but we're hoping for ET the Barber.
If you were talking to somebody that you saw had all this hunger, all this fire, and they'd be like, "Hey, TJ, man, like, how do I get to cut celebrities like you do?" Like, what would be one of the first things that you would tell them? Like,
it's not easy for one thing, because these guys, they're not like your regular, like everyday client. The everyday client gonna come in during work hours most of the time. Mm-hmm. These guys are calling you at the spur of the moment, late at night, early in the morning. After you get like, hey man, I need to cut tonight.
You gotta work around.
I don't work all day.
Yeah,
I'm not knowing that he's gonna call me.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, you have to really have a passion for. First of all, you have to have a passion for barbering.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have an extensive work ethic. You can't be that barber that's like, man, it's 6 o'clock. I'm done. I'm off.
Yeah.
Then I mean that athlete, he don't have, they'll show you real quick. They don't have time. They'll go to the next barber.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I sacrificed a lot, man, to be in the position that I'm in.
Oh, like that's the magnet in our industry. You have your skill set, and then you also have your soft skills, which is your personality and how you learn how to attract people or how people can bond to you. When you have those two, you're going to attract the people that's right for you.
Yep.
And just circling back a little bit to the prices, what you charge is who you're going to attract, right? Because you're charging a certain point to not attract certain people.
Yeah.
You want people are going to show up, right, to all their appointments. You want someone who's also going to have a professional attitude towards your business. So if you're charging up here, you're going to attract serious clients. And if you're not, it's going to be a different kind of client that you're attracting.
Yeah.
Another video type that does do that really well are voiceovers. That's when a barber is talking about a problem, right? They're saying like, I think one that's really popular right now is, this is my barber, or this barber, my client drove like so-and-so to get a lineup for me. He's never got a lineup before. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's posting with a specific target in mind. You're focusing on that lineup, someone who really wants a lineup. And someone's going to stay for that video that's 20, 30, 40 seconds long. If they're interested, I'm like, all right, dude, did this dude get this dude crispy? And if so, man, what do I book, right? So it's I think that those videos do really well to not only grow your viral videos and whatever, but it also helps with you building your clientele. And then moving forward from that, you can scale your prices once the numbers are right.
My mindset was, if I encountered another barber that was soaking up information and really wanted to grow, I couldn't do nothing but share and exchange information.
Yeah.
So man, over time it just grew from me sharing information in the shop to me just being inspired by my father to educate, and it just kind of grew into barbering. It grew in my barber career. So man, I take learning seriously, and I take teaching, seriously, man. So and that's what kind of led me into what I'm doing now.
Hey, no, because he's a Guinness World Book of Records, man. That's fact. Yeah.
What was the official time, Ivan?
The 3 records I have: fastest haircut in the world, most haircuts in an hour, and the most haircuts in 24 hours nonstop without a break. Originally, the record was 18 haircuts in 1 hour. I did 22 haircuts in an hour to break the record. Somebody broke my record. They did 23 haircuts in an hour. So I did 34 haircuts in 1 hour for the world record.
My English teacher turning me down, saying it wasn't a good dream. So then, my mom not allowing me to cut hair at the house, right? To, not having tools or not having the money. All those things were obstacles. They were character building things for me, right? And I remember jumping off of 15 steps on my skateboard and almost breaking my leg. And I did that. Like, this is nothing. I'm gonna get this, right? And that teacher saying my dream wasn't big enough. Okay, whatever. Let me tell you something. Fast forward. That was in 1993 when my English teacher told me that my dream wasn't big enough. He said, my son's in college right now. I was like, okay. And that's his dream. That ain't my dream. In 2005, I hired his son to come work at my barbershop. He became a barber.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Full circle.
And the English teacher came to the shop in 2006. 2006. And he said, man, you're the only student that did everything you said you was going to do. And I told him, and I hired your son in the process. His son went to college, was a Spanish teacher, English major as well. And he left the school district to become a barber and work for me for 8 years.
Wow.
How long I'm gonna be out here until I get my first client? As soon as I set my stuff up, I looked up, I seen this homeless dude walking, he got his hood. I said, let me get you a haircut. He said, I ain't got no money. I said, come on, I wanna bless you. This is my first haircut on Hollywood Boulevard, okay? This haircut, to this day, this was the man who had schizophrenia. You remember that interview I did?
Yeah.
Of that young man on Hollywood Boulevard?
Oh!
That just blew up.
Yeah.
It viral on every platform. It went viral on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. This was just my blessing to him. It wasn't me trying to, I wasn't trying. Listen, I only had the camera. Let me tell you why. I only had the camera there because people love to be on the internet. Yeah. I'm not a big internet person, to be honest, but people love it. So I set the camera up. So I'm like, people gonna want to get a haircut because they know they're gonna be being recorded. Yeah. So as much as I didn't want to publicize that was what I did, and I just cut his hair, and that turned into me blessing that man, turned into continuous income, clients, and it just continued to trickle down into whatever it built by just me blessing that man out the kindness of my heart, not to gain followers, not to gain clout. I just set the thing up there because I needed for people to stop.
Yeah, that was something that I learned also pretty early, is that I did not want to be just the best barber. I wanted to be the best business. Yeah. And I realized that a lot of barbers are still trying to be the best barber, but it has nothing to do with business. We're talking about haircuts, straight lines. Oh, I put the enhancement on this, bro.
Right. I got the blurriest fade.
That don't matter. And I think, and it's even funnier thinking about it, like when some of these things were being implemented into the industry or integrated into where we are now, those people are in such a different place. They're not even talking about that anymore. You know what I'm saying? The people that was talking about the blurry fades and this and that, man, they are a whole different space right now. So they don't even cut hair no more.
I fell in love with first, which wasn't hair. I fell in love with conversations.
Yeah.
And those conversations that I was having with those gentlemen kind of kept me afloat. You ever realize that you were going through a depression years later? You know what I'm saying? I was definitely going through a depression at that time, and they kept me sane. They gave me perspective, because I'm cutting their hair and I feel down because I don't know how I'm gonna pay my rent. But the person in my chair is smiling because he got here at 4:30, which means he could get a meal today, which also means that he's here in time to be there for count, to be able to get a bed for tonight, not tomorrow, tonight. And that gave me, it was like, I still feel bad that I don't know how I'm gonna pay my rent, but at least I got a bed to sleep in and heat to go to tonight. And this gentleman is smiling and he doesn't, so I kind of don't feel good frowning.
I want to say this real quick. Sorry to cut you off, D. I just feel like I'm big on the idea of practicing at the top of my license. And what I mean by that is I want to make sure that in the hearts and minds of my clients, that they feel that I'm doing my best work. And in my opinion, the way I see my best work is I don't want to spend the majority of an appointment trying to make sure that somebody's hair is shampooed and prepped for me to do a fade and a cut and a razor line, right? I want to educate my clients to take care of that stuff at home.
Just because you're good at one thing don't mean you can't be good at multiple things.
Yeah.
So I guess that, it put a lot of stuff in perspective for me, because I always felt like that, like through my whole life, because I feel like God's blessed me with a lot of gifts, you know what I'm saying, and quite a few talents. But I always felt like being a barber that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm gonna focus my attention on, because I don't want to get lost in these other things that I do. And people lose the respect that they have for me as a barber. And I lose my, how do I say it? That I lose my name as a barber. And it really stifled me from doing a lot of stuff that I wanted to do. I'm not going to even lie, because I do feel like I'm gifted in other areas. But in my mind, it's like, you a barber, bro. Chill out. You can't do that. Can't do that. People ain't going to receive that. Don't nobody care nothing about all all of these other things you got going on. You a barber, cut hair.
Something that was created was still being sold, was still being advertised, and I had no benefit from it, no part in it anymore. It's almost like you creating a child that knows nothing about you. It comes from you, but other people are managing it. So for me, it lit a fire, under me, and I couldn't sleep. Like I couldn't sleep knowing that something is moving on that I created. You know what I'm saying? So I said, okay, what am I going to do about it? That's a question that I had to ask myself. I could cry about it. I could, take a chance the legal route, or I could just say, you know what, I did it once, I could do it again. And
being intentional with the time that you have. I think a lot of us, like I said, time can definitely get past us a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes it may feel like we ain't got enough time in a day,
Right.
There's just so much going on. But I feel like when we start to get intentional about our time and placing, time where it needs to be and saying, hey, okay, in this hour here, I'm focused on this and only on this. This hour here, I'm focused only on this. And that could be with family. If you got a hobby, if you're saying this time right here goes to my wife, this time right here goes to my kids. Before the day gets started, this time goes to God, and just really delegating that time in the proper manner. I think that just kind of helps you be more useful.
I have a 2-part question.
All right.
So do your clientele with the SMP, do it just consist of men, or do you see women also? That's the first part.
Okay.
The second part of that question is, I know you and I talked about on the phone a few weeks ago, being able to match hair color.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, a lot of barbers in the industry, they use black hair enhancements and they putting it on brown hair, dark brown hair, and it doesn't look natural at all. So with the SMP, are you still matching the client's hair to make it look as natural as possible?
Okay, cool. Good. Those are both really, really good questions. So one, and if you look at my page, that's going to be a really common question, right? Can we do women? My page is mainly men, more, harder lineups, that barbershop style. And that's just my niche. That's what I'm known for. And that's who contacts me the most, right? But women is a complete untapped market. I don't have a homegirl that hasn't pulled her hair back and was like, yo, do my edges.
Yeah.
It's for everybody. It's for all humans. It's not even, doesn't even matter if you're bald or not bald or thin. It don't matter. If you like hair enhancements, then this is for you, you know? So there is really no limit. Anyone who steps foot in our barbershop, they're client, whether they need it or want it, they're client, man or woman, it looks great on everybody.
You're right. Everyone may not have the type of personality I have. I just been blessed with that. I can walk past y'all in the grocery store and I'll probably be friends with y'all by the time we leave out of the grocery store. That's just the personality that I have. Now, everybody doesn't have that, right? But you know what happens? If you want to be a barber and you're in this industry, and if you're being available and reliable, what does that mean? That means you're getting people in your chair. You're starting to get more and more clients. You're being available. You're going to start learning. It's practice. You're going to start learning how to talk to people. You have to. Hey, how can I help you today? What service do we want to do? Okay, you want to do a 2 on top, fade to side? I'm going to have to talk to you.
Yeah.
Honestly, from day one, from Bradford to you, Delmar, you guys have both been amazing, like-minded gentlemen that I'm glad that I connected with. This podcast that you guys have is something that our industry needs. And I appreciate you guys for giving me the opportunity to be on this space with you guys. And I'm for sure most definitely ready for that part too, man. I am ready.
And so this is an era where everyone is listening and people wanting to know stories and they're asking questions and you just discover things, So you guys keep doing what you're doing. Don't lose the reason and the purpose behind your podcast, because this is more than just talking about, how to run a business and how to grow your business. It's about opening up the mindset of the people that are going through real life and are using this industry to provide for their family. So you continue to do what you're doing.
We appreciate you taking time out your day too, man.
I appreciate you guys, man. Information is abundant, but a lot of us don't want it. So it's like I'm glad y'all are putting it out there for hopefully somebody's listening that wants to receive it. The people the people that want it gonna receive it, but I want us all to receive. We know that's just not the case, But man, I keep on doing what you guys are doing, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like what y'all doing, man. Y'all, keep doing it, man. I like that.
So we just trying to bring some positivity to the barber industry.
We definitely need it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, my second prediction for 2024 is I'm going to predict that people that participate in this Elevated Barber podcast on average are going to make more money next year. They're going to come talk to me at shows. They're going to buy a book and they're going to raise their game because this podcast has served as an opportunity to facilitate that. How's that for a prediction?
That's one of the best predictions I've heard of. I'm with that.
I'm
with that. They go buy a program. They go buy a book. They might get a comb, step their game up, learn how to just change their life.
Because they're here, because they're part of what you guys are building, because they recognize the value in it.
Absolutely. And that's what we're doing here at Elevated Barbers Podcast. We are literally trying to become a platform that helps to elevate the barber game, and any cosmetologists or any business people that tap in and want to just learn. This is what we do.
Faith for the future. Your latter days will be greater than your former days, which means
absolutely
the days ahead of you will be so much greater than the ones behind you. We're gonna go through them tough times and those years, because for the last 2 years, you know, the Barber Expo they didn't stop when I stopped. And I felt left out for a time. And I had to go through my things I was going through. So you know, everybody got their time. Everybody got their time. Y'all,
like you said earlier, guys' timing.
Y'all time coming. I'm excited to be here at the beginning.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity. I always, want to be able to share my perspective, drop a gem or two and learn something. Y'all drop gems as well. So I learned just some different things, and I think it's great that we are now starting to get to these spaces and create these podcasts and create these platforms for people to be on, because there's a lot of great individuals that are out there that need to tell their story. They need to share their story. They need to share some information, because it's so much misinformation online, so being able to have people in these spaces and you can chop it up and put it out there, it's like, okay, it just gives, it gives people more of a chance to get the real. Instead of just getting whatever is out there. And sometimes that should be lies, it'd be, confusion, it'd be clickbait, and it's like, that's all well and good, especially in our industry. I think that's something that we got to really own more of, because we're already in these positions, in these spaces, talking to people every day on a way different level, a deeper level than just basic conversation. So, when we do have these opportunities, I think we just really need to be good stewards of the information and make sure that we're telling people the real and things, even if it's opinionated, that's cool, but come from the right place. Don't come from a place of malice trying to tear the next barber down. It's really, to encourage them, to empower them, and to educate them, and to make sure that they have what they need to just be a better version of themselves, because that's a reflection of us. Like we mentioned before, that whole negative stigma around barbering, we want to change that narrative. So I think this platform is going to give people opportunity to change.
Absolutely.
Salute, brother. Appreciate that.
Salute, man.
What I would say is, man, just be a person of integrity. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you say you're going to do, just be one of those people who actually fall through and come through. Like be a man, be a woman of your word, and operate in pure integrity. And I don't think there's no way you could lose.
Man. Well,
mic drop.
Mic drop. That's the way we go in this show. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Elevated Barbers, we are coming to you one more time with value, nothing but value. So hopefully you enjoyed, and we are out. Peace.
1, 2